Holiday celebrations can certainly bring on a whole host of emotions and mixed feelings. And with all the responsibilities you have as a caregiver and the stress, it can certainly take its toll on you. But with a little planning and some adjustments, the holidays can actually be a really nice time for you and your family. So let's talk about finding that balance and making adjustments. The first thing we want to consider is we want to celebrate holidays that are important to you and your family and that have traditions. The reason we want to do this is because our loved one with dementia is more likely to remember old traditions and will be able to participate throughout the day, and also will keep them happier. Want to evaluate your loved one's situation and be realistic about what you can handle and what they can handle. So in the earlier stages of dementia, your loved one might have trouble with communication and finding words, and maybe have some challenges with scheduling. So if this is an issue, an easy fix for this is to actually create a schedule, create an hour-by-hour schedule with the activity next to it, and put it on your refrigerator. And when you find that your loved one is confused, bring them over to the refrigerator and show them the schedule. I did this for my mom during holidays and it worked brilliantly, so I highly recommend this. Another thing you want to do is check in with them on occasion. So just simply ask them how they're doing, how they're feeling, how they're coping. The holidays can certainly be an emotional time for a loved one with dementia in the early stage because they are aware of their disease and they do know what's to come, so we do want to be sensitive to this. And we also want to reevaluate as the journey progresses and make adjustments in our holiday plans accordingly. We want to have a group discussion with family members before the visit, and I would highly suggest following up your discussion with an email so that they have everything in writing to refer back to. We want to discuss plans for the day or days, depending on how many day celebration you're going to have. And if you have a larger family, you're going to want to break it up into smaller chunks and do it throughout a course of several days. And you want to plan around your loved one's good period. So if your loved one has confusion at night and may have challenges with sundowning, you might want to consider doing a brunch or lunch situation. Also, if you're used to planning big meals and cooking for large groups, a consideration might be moving to a potluck style. Let your family members know how they can help you, really important, make a list, and then delegate those tasks and needs to your family members. And again, put this in the email so they know exactly what they need to help you with. And you want to prepare your family ahead of time. And the next slide will get into more detail on how to prepare your family and guests prior to the visit so that everybody has an enjoyable experience. Now, we want to plan to continue with our current traditions, but we also want to be flexible to maybe some new ones. Maybe consider some traditions that are a little bit easier and less stressful. And some ideas for that are maybe holiday movies if you're not already doing that. These are very relaxing and very easy to do. Making holiday cards. It's always great to kind of engage our loved one in art projects, or they could help you with cards that you currently have or purchased, with maybe sealing envelopes or putting stamps on the cards. You could take in a local play or a local concert. That's always nice to do. Or you can make a holiday centerpiece or maybe something decorative for your door. Now, here's how we're going to prepare our visitors. First, we want to provide and update our family and guests. So we want to let them know of any changes that have happened since their last visit. And some of the things we might want to consider updating them on are weight loss or weight gain. If there's any other physical changes, a photo might be a good idea so that there's no shock when they show up and see their family member. Any unpredictable behaviors that are being caused by dementia, you want to let your family member know ahead of time so they're prepared for this. If your loved one is having trouble with incontinence, let your loved ones and family members know how to handle, and if you're going to be the one to handle bathroom help throughout their visit. Any current struggles that your loved one is having, prepare them, talk about it, so that there's no frustration or embarrassment and anxiety for your loved one. Also, if your loved one's moved to a wheelchair or a walker, let your family know. And also, we want to offer communication tips. So you have been through the communication module, so you have probably some communication tips, hopefully, that are standing out in your mind. I would share these with your family members, but also, simply tell them to be patient and not try to fill in words for your loved one, and then not to correct them, right? So we really want to focus on that connecting rather than correcting. And we are in their reality. So whatever they're doing and saying, that's right, and that's it. And make sure your family is aware of this strategy, so to speak. And suggest activities to bring with them. Now, you certainly want to talk about the activities you have planned so you're all on the same page, and get them involved in the planning of this and execution of the activities, but also maybe have them bring like a photo album or maybe a small game or something that they can engage with their loved one, maybe one-on-one in private time. Stress that the meaningful moment together matters more than what your loved one is going to remember, right? This is all about connection. And make sure family members understand that it's the disease, not the person. So any of these situations, any of the things that your loved one may do that's out of character or different or strange, that it's the disease and it's not your loved one. I might even put that up on a sticky note somewhere in the house. It's the disease, not the person. And we want to send them the 21 do's and don'ts ahead of time for visiting a loved one with dementia or Alzheimer's. Now, this is available in your downloads here. Download that for sure. This is something I wish I had for my family members when I was caring for my mom. Super, super useful, and make sure they read it. That's the key. They need to read it. So let's talk about 6 tips for holiday happiness. So we want to maintain our loved ones' routines as much as possible. We already kind of alluded to this. We want to plan our activities around our loved ones' good periods. We want to involve our loved one as much as we can in what they can handle, and certainly consider safe and manageable activities for your loved one. Things that they could do. They could help prepare the meal. So if they're, depending on what stage they're in, they can help peel potatoes. They could do some stirring at the stove. They could, fold some napkins, get things ready for your meal. Could help with wrapping gifts. Now, this is something my mom loved to do. She was kind of the Martha Stewart of gift wrapping and certainly had these extravagant bows that she made. So this was something we continued to do right up until very late stage. And we didn't care what they looked like. Certainly as the disease progressed, the gifts didn't look as great as they could have. And we didn't care. That's half the fun, right? And then in the very late stage, I would wrap the gifts, I'd put the paper on, and then I would give her a bow for her to put on, and she was happy with that. So keeping them involved at their level, right? If your loved one is a baker, baking cookies, again, whatever they can do to help, whether it's rolling out dough or maybe, putting chocolate chips into the batter, something to keep them involved. Polishing silverware, this is a good way to get the silverware polished. They love to do that, and also setting the table might be an option. Now, decorating. Now, this is obviously often part of holiday traditions in many families. So this is a great thing to do with your loved one, but we want to kind of think about some things while we're doing that. One is that blinking lights can be very confusing for our loved one with dementia. So we may want to eliminate that altogether. And also we want to maybe pare down our decorations, kind of keep it a little bit more minimal and stick to traditional decorations that are within the family that your loved one might recognize, and reduce any kind of clutter within the home. So we want to keep our group visits. If you have a large family, want to keep them small. So again, you might have to plan over a couple of days for your holiday celebrations because we don't want to overstimulate our loved one, because that will throw a real monkey wrench into your day and your holidays. Schedule your important activities, the things that you want to definitely do as a family during your loved one's best time of day. So if you were going to, open gifts at a certain time, if that's something that you're practicing in your holiday, make sure you schedule that during a good time of day for your loved one. Or if you're going to play a game together, a family game, or go to a concert, make sure you do that when your loved one is at their best. And I would suggest creating a quiet space in your home so that your family members can have one-on-one time with your loved one. It's really nice to kind of move away from all the activity and hoopla and have a little bit of private time. And again, depending on what stage your loved one is in, maybe this is a good way to exchange gifts, because sometimes, gift unwrapping and all the paper and all the excitement and kids and yelling and all that can be overwhelming for our loved ones. So maybe if you take it into the private room and exchange gifts one-on-one privately. And of course, we need to maintain your own stress level. That's a big one. Self-care during the holidays is critical. And I'll get into this a little bit more in a later slide, but definitely want to only take on what you reasonably can. You need to be realistic about this. I know and I get it. We want to accomplish everything. We want to do everything. We want to make everybody happy. The holidays are big, or birthdays are big, whatever they are that you're celebrating. But you got to be realistic, and you're going to have to start taking things off your plate and scaling back as your disease progresses for your loved one. And it may be heartbreaking at first, but it's going to be better in the long run, and it'll be so much more enjoyable and so much more relaxing for you. So keep your extra commitments during the holiday season, or during any kind of leading up to your event that you might be having with your family. Keep those to a minimum. And you want to take me moments throughout the day. Really important. Take a step outside, take a step into a different room, and just breathe. Maybe do your breathing exercises that you learned in Caregiver Wellness. Just take a time out to reset. You've got a lot going on. I mean, you're the host, right? And you're the primary caregiver, and you're entertaining everybody. It's a lot. So take a step back and reset, and come back grounded, right? It's really important to walk away for a few minutes. So here's some fun stuff. Gift giving ideas, because people are always asking, like, what should I get your mom? What should I get grandma, during the holidays? So I came up with some ideas here that would be good for our loved ones with dementia. And we want to make them functional yet enjoyable. So one idea is an ID bracelet. Now, I know that doesn't sound very enjoyable, but if your loved one loves jewelry, they probably are going to love this. And like, that was for my mom. She loved this bracelet, and she loved jewelry, so she wanted to wear it all the time, which is a good thing. Another idea is a GPS tracker. Again, maybe not that exciting, but it is a functional gift. Easy clothing and easy shoes. So things that are easy to take on and off, like elastic pants, button-up shirts, maybe Velcro shoes. And this is a good one for kids and grandkids to make. Maybe a homemade photo book, or even like a book that they draw some things in. That would be really lovely. Any favorite magazines, books, or music that they might enjoy. Now, we all know music is big, so maybe in some music of whatever time period they're living in, or favorite artists, that would be nice. Favorite treats are always a hit, definitely. And we want to advise people and family members not to give challenging games, any kind of electronics, any dangerous tools or utensils, and certainly not pets. Now, gift giving ideas for you. This is the fun stuff. So when people say, what do you want for Christmas? Here's what you want, or whatever holiday you celebrate. House cleaning service, gift certificates for house cleaning service, lawn care, meal subscription kit, restaurant gift certificates, grocery delivery, handyman, always good to have on hand, and maybe a spa treatment. Those are always nice. Now, if your loved one lives in a care facility, here are some things to consider. Want to participate in the holiday activities that they have planned at the facility. Now, most places always have really nice holiday activities planned. So usually maybe it's a brunch or a lunch type thing, or they might do, if it's Christmas time, they might do caroling and or maybe like a holiday happy hour with mocktails. So definitely make plans to go to these events and participate with your loved one. And another fun thing is to listen to holiday music with your loved one in their room and dance and sing along together. This is a great way to connect. It's one of the things I did with my mom. I would dance with her to Christmas music. We celebrate Christmas. And it's honestly one of my fondest memories of my mom. And also it was towards the end of her life, because she passed away in January. So it was, definitely Christmas time was, I have vivid memories of that, and we spent a lot of time dancing to holiday music in her room together, and it was just extraordinary. That's one thing she wanted to continue to do. She couldn't stand up all that well, and you could hold her up and she would dance, and she loved to dance, always did. So we did that right up until the end. Bring some holiday aromatherapy if it's allowed. So you want to check in with the care facility and make sure that you can do this. And aromatherapy can be really nice. So if it's like peppermint's really nice, rosemary's really nice, floral if it's a spring holiday, just something to add another layer of enjoyment for your gathering. And bring a favorite treat for you to share together. And maybe add a couple of traditional decorations in their room. And again, check with the facility to make sure that this is okay before you do that. But again, keep it minimal, but something that is familiar to your loved one. And again, if you have loved ones and family members and guests coming from out of town to visit your loved one, make sure you prepare them ahead of time. Go back to that slide on preparing, go through that, send them the 21 do's and don'ts. And I would also suggest potentially meeting them at the facility during their visit. Sometimes it can be helpful to have you there, the primary caregiver, to make sure this visit goes well. And again, we want to keep the visits to smaller groups. So if you're going to have many visitors coming in, space it out over several days. And we certainly want to consider doing something for the staff. They work really hard for you. They take care of your loved one to make sure that they're safe, that they're happy, that they're well taken care of. And we want to do something nice for them to recognize that. So check with the care facility and see what's allowable. So sometimes they allow you to do gifts and others do not. But if they're doing a pool, you could donate some money to that if they're doing like a pool of gifts for the staff, or you could certainly maybe consider buying lunch for the staff one day. There's lots of ideas, but just check and see what you can do for them, and definitely consider taking care of them. So 7 tips for taking care of yourself. As I said earlier, self-care is really important during the holidays. So here are some things you can do. Pick and choose. Now this is a big one. You want to pick and choose holiday traditions and activities that are meaningful and important to you, right? Can't do it all. I already said that you can't do it all, and you're going to have to start peeling back at some point. So be flexible with that and do what you can manage, and don't try to overdo because you will burn yourself out. Manage others' expectations, right? So set realistic expectations, what you can contribute and also what your family can contribute and what you expect of them during the holidays to help you, right? And then delegate what you need from your family members, whether it's cleaning, shopping, helping with wrapping gifts, whatever it is you need. Delegate some tasks and needs to your family members. And be forgiving, right? Nobody's perfect. And as hard as you try and as much as you plan and do all this stuff, things may go sideways, and that's okay. It's okay. It's going to happen. Let it roll off your shoulders, move on, and enjoy yourself. Nobody's perfect. And make time for yourself. Now, the holidays or any kind of celebration is about connecting and being with friends and socializing and food and fun. And so ask a family member or a neighbor or a friend to sit in with your loved one for a few hours so that you can go out and enjoy yourself and get some much needed respite and have some holiday fun yourself. And remember to breathe and take some time out for some holiday meditations. Now, this is the time of year that's my favorite time to meditate, and there are some wonderful holiday meditations, both inspiring and also stress reducing on Insight Timer. So I recommend checking some of those out during the holiday season, and maybe do a couple a week to kind of level yourself out and bring you back to the ground and prepare you for everything that's coming your way during the holidays. And again, the bottom line is to have fun, right? So if you prepare, if you evaluate and you manage and you kind of scale back a little bit, you prepare your family members, you have the chat with them about, your expectations, and you delegate some things and you send a follow-up email of all this other stuff, you're going to set yourself up for better success than most, right? And that's going to lead to more fun and more happiness for your holidays. So I hope this was helpful, and this is the end of this module in connection. And next we will be moving into home safety. So we will see you over there.